I know I'm making a big mistake.
Point of parliamentary procedure.
Senator, pardon me?
The point of parliamentary procedure, the 10-minute rule still does apply, though.
Thank you, Senator Laurie. Have you been appropriately
Some of my best friends,
Senator Lance?
Madam President, thank you. I just wanted to note that there's nothing in statute right now. What Senator Fischbach was referring to was session law in a budget bill, and the language is somewhat different, and is not what's in current session law is not permanent. So what we're proposing, what Senator Fischbach is proposing with this language, is to make it a permanent part of state statute and to expand the state funding ban to federal funds that the state receives for state programs, either for human cloning or for any expenses incidental to human cloning. That's an extraordinarily broad statement that could be used to, could be interpreted to include any funding for labs, research facilities, research assistant salaries, anything like that. So it really is an extraordinarily broad ban, and the chilling impact it would have on researchers coming here or being invited to frankly leave and go to another state where the future of their professional scientific research endeavors will not be called into question or jeopardy is a very significant concern.
Senator Fischbach.
Madam Chair, or excuse me, Madam President, and I did want to just take a minute. This is Senate File 2083. It's the third engrossment from 09 and 10. And the language in that bill, for purposes of this subdivision, cloning means generating a genetically identical copy of an organism at any stage of development by combining in a nucleated egg and the nucleus of a somatic cell to make an embryo. That is identical to the language that I read earlier that is a portion of my bill. There are some changes, there's no question, on the appropriation, etc. It says an appropriation in this section must not be used for either to support human cloning or to pay for any expenses incidental to human cloning. So this language is very close, with the exception of the no state funds or federal funds. For the no state funds or federal funds the state receives for state programs may be used. That phrase is about the only difference in the language. Thank you.
Senator Nelson. Madam Chair, will Senator Pappas yield? Senator Pappas will yield. Senator Pappas, I was wondering if you could clarify for me your amendment and exactly who you said supported this amendment. It appears that others have not seen it that you claimed had supported it. So I would like clarification for the body as far as who saw this amendment and who has so-called put their stamp of approval on it. Senator Pappas.
Madam President and Senator Nelson, this amended language was suggested to me by the University of Minnesota as coming from the state of California.
Senator Nelson. Madam President, let the record reflect that then. That is not what Senator Pappas said momentarily, a few moments ago. Senator Marty.
Madam President, Senator Nelson's amendment is the language that Senator Fischbach put into her original bill the other day, and when we were discussing this in the first committee, I think it was Health and Human Services, I asked, who's trying to do cloning? Because nobody is. Nobody is trying to do human cloning, and nobody's in favor of it that I could tell. So I asked why, and she said, well, if everybody opposes it, then why don't we just put it into law? And that might be a good thing to do, but the concern is that you're going to have the effect on therapeutic cloning, you're going to have effect on the scientific research. And Senator Pappas's amendment to the Nelson Amendment will fix that. In other words, you can oppose cloning, creating, in effect, it's taking the cell and implanting it, the embryo, and implanting it in the uterus for purposes of creating another human being. But her bill, with Senator Nelson's amendment on it, without the Pappas amendment, would still have the impact of stopping